Hey there. Today we're going to be reviewing Chapter 1 of Business Essentials. A need is something required to live, like food, drink, or transportation. A want is something to add pleasure and comfort to life, such as a brand new phone or sports car. Goods are tangible, meaning you can see and touch them, such as a table or a computer. A service is something that somebody can do for you. Natural resources are anything found in nature that can be used for economic gain. Human resources are the people in the workforce producing the goods and services. Capital resources are machines, tools, or instruments used to make goods. Scarcity is a lack of resources to produce the amount of goods in demand. Economic decision-making is the process of choosing which needs and wants of the consumer will be satisfied. A trade-off is getting rid of something to get something else with better qualities in some areas. Opportunity cost is the loss of potential gain from other alternatives when another is chosen. The economic problem is when people with limited income have to be very careful about how to spend their money. This problem is the result of scarcity of resources, whether natural, human, or capital. The first step of the decision-making process is to define the problem. You must know what the problem is before you are able to solve it. The second step is to identify all choices. This is possibly the most important step, because you don't want to overlook an important choice. The third step is to evaluate and review all possible choices, to know the advantages and disadvantages of each choice. After reviewing your choices, the fourth step is to choose the best alternative for this time and in the future. The fifth step is to act on the choice that you made and do what you must to accomplish it. The sixth and final step is to review your decision after having time to experience your choice. You must record the advantages and disadvantages that you didn't account for in the third step. Now to our three economic questions. The first is what goods and services will be produced. The simple answer to this question is to not put too many resources into one area, or else there won't be enough to produce the goods and services that are in demand. The second of the three questions is not to put too many resources into one area to be produced. A business must find the best way to produce the goods that are in demand with the resources that are available. For example, it would be wise to spend resources on a more efficient way to accomplish the overall goal of producing more goods. The third and final question is what needs and wants will be satisfied. Knowing that not all of the needs and wants of your customers will be satisfied is important so that you don't run your resources dry. Knowing what is most important is how you decide what to produce. Next, we have the types of economic systems. The first system is a command economy. In this system, personal economic choices are limited while the government owns and controls the resources. The next system is the market economy. The government has very limited involvement while the people control and own the resources. For the third system, the traditional economy is normally used by countries that aren't as developed, teaching their children generation after generation the same economic techniques. Our fourth and final system is a mixed economy. Consumers are most likely, like you and I, purchase goods and services from producers. A producer is a person who creates and determines what products and services will be for sale. I think of supply and demand as a scale. If one side is too heavy or too low, the other rises, or vice versa. Demand being the amount of a good or service that the consumer are willing and able to buy. And supply is the amount of a good or service that a business is willing and able to provide. The point where these two meet is called the market price. Gross domestic product, or GDP, is the most used measurement to determine output. GDP per capita is another way to measure output. It shows how much output the average person does. Personal income is the money people receive each day from their participation in production. Retail sales are what is measured by the United States Department of Commerce. These sales indicate general spending patterns. There are 4 different business cycles that a business goes through. The first is prosperity. Prosperity is when most people who want to work are working. Businesses are producing goods. The second, slower step is recession. Demand increases, production lowers, and unemployment rises. When recession worsens, depression begins. Depression has prolonged unemployment, weak sales, and business failures. After depression becomes better, the fourth and final step starts to occur: recovery. Recovery begins with a decrease of unemployment, demand rises, and GDP rises again. Now to inflation and deflation. Inflation is the most harmful to people living on fixed incomes, because their pay will not change with the prices. Deflation is quite the opposite. It usually occurs in times of recession and depression. A price index is a number used to compare prices from one year to the next. Now to capital projects. Companies use money that you deposit in your bank account and return pay you interest. Many people invest their money into a corporation by buying partial ownership in the business. Another way that these projects are funded is by bonds. Creditors buy these bonds and in return paid interest for the use of their money. Now we'll talk about the national debt, which is the amount of money the government owes. A budget surplus occurs when more money is taken in than is being spent. The opposite, a budget deficit, occurs when more is being spent than taken in.